What's up, everybody? It's Armic, and I am back with a first impression of Halcyon 6. Halcyon 6 is a retro strategy RPG with base building, deep tactical combat, crew management, and emergent storytelling. This game was brought to us through the power of Kickstarter by Massive Damage Incorporated. The very first thing worth talking about in this game, and don't worry, it won't be that long, is the options menu. The option menu to me is very bare bones. It could use a little bit of work done to it. The most notable thing that I would like to see added to the options menu is the option to turn off graphics of combat. Kind of like in Pokemon, how if you want to play fast, you turn off the battle animations and you just see damage. So starting out with a new game, you get a choice of 3 classes. You have your red class, which is more of your assault damage type of class. You have your blue class or your science class, who's more of your healing class and your buffing class. And then you have your third class, which is type of an engineer, and they're more of your damage over time AoE style of class. To not go into too much of story spoilers, the game basically starts off, your planet's been destroyed, and it's up to you, the last survivors, to kind of carve your way back into society. As soon as I hopped into the game, the first thing that stuck out to me was the base building. It reminded me a shit ton of XCOM, and how in XCOM, you start as a small base, and you slowly have to research and clear out these areas to be able to build more and more and add more things to your base based off of these different resources that the game uses. This base is huge, and it takes quite a while to explore, and even I, in my short time of playing, was unable to clear out the entire base. I personally did not take part in the tutorial mission, but I didn't find the game too complicated to get into, although it starts out very simple, but the combat and the mechanics get increasingly more complex, and don't worry, that is a good thing. Continuing about the combat discussion of the game, there are 2 ways that you're primarily going to be doing combat. One is with your actual characters on the ground, and the second is fighting in their spaceships. Now, each commander can command a different spaceship, and if you don't have a commander, you can fill in those roles with different cadets, and these cadets are much weaker, and in my instance they were pretty expendable. They would die very quickly, and it almost wasn't worth trying to fight to keep them alive in battle. But for every move you have in combat, it deals some type of status effect damage. It either deals a damage or it exploits a damage. So for example, you could do an attack that would deal system down, and that would shut down the system of your enemy. And then another character in your party may have an ability that exploits this system down, and by exploiting the system down, your enemy will lose that status effect, but you'll essentially deal double damage. So it takes using these combinations of attacks and abilities in different ways, and on deciding whether you want to keep the status effect on or get rid of it, and at what point you want to get rid of it, because it only lasts for a certain amount of turns, to maximize the damage to your enemies. And you have 2 different sets of moves based on whether you're on the ground or in the air. And on the ground, to me, I felt the ground moves were more satisfying, and the battle style is so much in the likes of Final Fantasy VI or the early Final Fantasy games, where you're just on 2 sides and you fight back and forth. And I love the death animations. Whoever did the death animation, kudos to them, because you could tell there is heart and love put into those animations, and they're different for every type of ship that I fought. The combat system is just rewarding and satisfying, and it's where you'll be spending most of your time in the game. So when you're out of the ship, what exactly do you do? You spend your time going around the galaxy, finding locations that provide you more resources, interacting with the different alien life forms. At this point in the game, I found about 4 or 5 different life forms, and they all are different personalities, and they all come across very different. They all want me to do very different things. I found aliens who are mind readers that can't tell the future, but they can't control themselves, so I have to stop them from killing each other. I've helped pirates destroy and become king of all pirates. You do all kinds of things in this game, and to this point, I haven't really found that civilization style of interaction with the enemies, but that could possibly be because I've only played 2.5 hours, so it could be more, and I'm going to continue to play more. But as far as my first impressions goes, I'm kind of happy with how they are. You can visit them and get additional resources. and they kind of help you get through, and they kind of push the story along and help you find out what happened. But it seems like none of them want you to trust the other groups, so I feel like at some point you're gonna have to choose. And it's just, I'm interested in what the next interaction with these guys will all be, because like I said, they all do something different and they're all strange, and I just can't wait for them to come and interact with me. And I just hope that I'm not stuck on a certain map and that there's more for me to explore. As I played, the real difficulty to me came from the enemies that were located to your left, and they were aliens that were trying to invade in your area. And these aliens you couldn't talk to, you had no interaction with, but they would constantly attack the Federation circle. And they were stronger than every other enemy I had encountered to that point. So part of me didn't want to fight them, but by not fighting them, they're destroying my resources, which causes me to grow even slower. But by fighting them, I risk losing an ally. And in this game, if one of your players die, they die permanently, kind of like in XCOM. So what I would do is I did eventually find a way. I got better at the battle system, I got better at the game's mechanics, and I was able to fight these guys, but I felt like I was putting so many resources into fighting these guys that I couldn't interact with the other aliens that were really my more favorite part of the game. And also, the only way to get more allies is to use one of your people to research an extra ally. And by researching extra allies, you're not exploring the universe, or you're not researching different areas of your ship, and you're not finding new technologies. So you have to find this great balance between it all, and it truly makes it difficult to some. But that's not a bad difficult. I was kind of happy that it was difficult. I just thought that I wish I had more people to do more things so I could see everything that was available, because I didn't have the people to do everything I wanted to do. I hope that makes sense, but if you play, you'll see that it's very difficult to manage. You have to do some great time management, and the aliens to your left are constantly putting you in a hurry. But again, this is a positive thing, and I enjoy the difficulty of the game, but I thought it had to be mentioned because could be plus or minus to how you feel about the game. Final thoughts on the game. It's a great game. Another success from Kickstarter. It only costs $20 or your regional equivalent, and if you buy it in the first week, it's only $17. I recommend it to anyone who needs a little bit of 2D XCOM in their life. You beat the new XCOM, and you're just looking for something to play and to scratch that itch. It's a great game. Master of Orion, too hard, a great game. Stellaris, too difficult. This is the game for you. The developer said they're still going to continue to work on it. They said this is just the beginning. I believe them. I think this is exactly what some people are looking for in this genre. So I highly suggest you check it out. Halcyon 6. It's been your boy Armic. This has been my first impressions video. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you think. And until next time, peace in the Middle East, reign in Spain.